Happy holidays, everybody, and Tony here with my tribute to Delia's classic Christmas, which aired on BBC One on December 2009. This was conceptualized by Delia Smith herself, and the recipes included here range from Christmas pudding to roast turkey with pork and sage stuffing. Much like my experience with Fanny Craddock back in the 2010s during my 20s, my first experience with Delia Smith came rather late in my life as I was 20 years old back in 2012. The first program I caught Mrs. Delia Smith on was Delia's Classic Christmas on BBC, which I think was BBC One or BBC Two, but whatever BBC branch it was back in December 2012. And I remember being so thoroughly amazed and totally engaged with what she had to offer in terms of ingredients and in terms of all of the recipes that she offered in all of the cuisine presented for her Christmas celebration. After that initial experience, I proceeded to watch a lot more of her videos on YouTube, specifically the older ones from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. And what I've noticed about Delia Smith is that she had this elegance, eloquence, grace, and absolutely fine humility when she presented herself on television, as well as maintaining that savviness that she has for the food that she specializes in. Whether she has a go at savory, meaty delicacies, or vegetarian options, or puddings, or what have you, she manages to accomplish each and every one of them with a whole lot of grace, a whole lot of eloquence, and great interest. And this particular Christmas special is no exception. What I truly loved about Delia's Classic Christmas is its combination of a feel-good atmosphere and a whole lot of care. To quote Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, she is definitely one of the TV personalities who has a great amount of care and also uses that care to invite us, the audience, to partake in the preparations and festivities. In fact, that is also something that Delia Smith capitalizes on: preparation, prioritization, and organization, which are her important hallmarks to ensure that the job gets done efficiently and quickly. Whether she clears out unnecessary items and inserts the items that she truly needs for her kitchen, or logs down the basic necessities on her notebook, she has that element of showing how much in control she is of her situation, as well as imbuing viewers with a great sense of personal responsibility of what they can accomplish, whether they prepare meals or go about their domestic lives. And that's just something I truly enjoy about Delia Smith in this particular Christmas special. On top of that, this Christmas special is quite important because it's been 20 years since Delia Smith made a Christmas special, let alone hosted something that was related to the Yuletide season. And now that her comeback was realized back in 2009, this was definitely something that she used to her great advantage and also used with great aplomb, absolutely fine loveliness, and a down-to-earth sense of care that made her thoroughly approachable to all the viewers watching at home and to all the listeners wanting to take notes as to what she has to declare, let alone proclaim, in terms of the necessary recipes and in terms of the necessary steps taken to ensure that all of the cuisines and delicacies are well prepared. Recipes like the Christmas pudding, the Christmas Creole cake, the chocolate and sour cherry crumble, and Christmas pudding crackers demonstrate her focus and clarity to find out how much dried fruit, candied peel, nuts, brandy, rum, stout, suet, and flour is needed to ensure that all of these recipes are absolutely delectable, not only to bake, let alone prepare, but also for the guests to indulge in after having a hearty dinner. And she also emphasizes the importance of ensuring that the spares are well prepared, not just for the following morning or the following day, but pretty much for the next year. And when it comes to our appetizers, such as the brick pastry used as a base for something that is akin to pizza, especially with toppings such as Parma ham and pecorino cheese, as well as biscuits made of Gruyere cheese in one version and Parmesan cheese in another. She clearly demonstrates that she knows that people have a particular palate for certain foods, especially when it comes to appetizers, or even for quick bites when they have something to drink, i.e. champagne or wine, or anything that has a little bit of bubbly or alcohol in it. And the savory delicacies featured here are worth watching. And those are the ones that I consider to be my personal highlights because I'm a savory guy myself. I do love the savory food featured on here, especially with that delicious cheese and parsnip roulade made with such care, attention, precision, and focus, ratioing how much Gruyere cheese is needed for that filling, as well as ensuring that that parsnip combined with other ingredients is well combined is a surefire way in ensuring how ingredients like that are to be prepared. And I dare not forget about the meat and fish delicacies. The way that scallops in the shell were prepared by separating the white from the orange, as well as combining the necessary ingredients to make the sauce, as well as having that extra crunch from the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese is utterly top tier. But my three favorite delicacies featured here have to be in third place, the bœuf aux croûtes, or beef wrapped in pastry, in which that beef was sizzling, the mushroom stuffing was thoroughly combined, and all of that is wrapped up so nicely in all of that nice pastry, baked in that oven and ready to serve with some fine gravy and in something that is totally presentable. And tied in first place are, you guessed it, the roast turkey with pork and sage stuffing and the collar bacon and blackened crackling with Cumberland sauce. Going to the roast turkey with pork and sage stuffing, there was also the use of butter and bacon, with the butter ensuring that the skin is well lubricated as well as crisp, and the streaky bacon used to provide a lot of flavor to not only the skin but also to the turkey as a whole. But the main star of this particular preparation was the pork and sage stuffing, which was used to give the turkey its marbled flavor, and I would have really loved to try it for myself one day. And watching Mrs. Delia Smith prepare this wonderful piece of work was absolutely stunning. My curiosity of how to prepare turkey in this manner just skyrocketed to a million galaxies. And the way it was prepared with all of that basting and ensuring that that skin is crisp. And once the final product comes out with the meat so succulent and the skin so crispy, it was just an absolutely amazing visual experience. The same thing I could say about the collar bacon and blackened crackling. What made this recipe awesome is the use of molasses to coat the fatty part of the collar bacon to ensure that there was some nice crunchy, crispy crackling once it was done being roasted in the oven. And by the looks of it, it worked. And I dare not forget about the sauces. With the bread sauce, it looked absolutely savory as well as creamy looking thanks to the preparation of the bread, milk, onions with the cloves stuck on there, and the necessary spices and butter being used to enhance that creaminess of texture. It's an amazing feast for the eyes. I could also give that credit to the Cumberland sauce, in which orange peel was being used as a base, following suit with a jelly and juice mixture, and some good spices like English mustard powder and ginger powder being used to make a complementary sauce to the salty, savory sensation of the crackling and that bacon, which came out absolutely magnificently. The gravy for the turkey, which also managed to incorporate flour with the turkey fat and turkey juices to create a roux, and therefore creates such a delectable looking gravy, especially when Mrs. Delia Smith adds in a bit of brown sauce flavoring to ensure that that gravy has a deeper and richer color, especially when it comes to certain people who might want it. And that cranberry sauce, which she tries to make sure has the appropriate amount of sweetness, acidity, and a little bit of that sourness to ensure that everything comes together in flavorful harmony. And it's almost no wonder why it was pretty tough for me to choose which ones were my absolute favorites, but I still have to give it to the savory options because those are the ones I prefer, and those are the ones that I found were absolutely amazing and thoroughly delectable. Culinary awesomeness aside, what also made Delia's Classic Christmas work was the use of atmosphere, the outdoors, to ensure that we also get to see Delia and her husband being also one with nature, and also being people who also love the great outdoors, and even seeing a couple of snippets of their cat, which I thought was absolutely lovely and also heightened that sense of care and welcoming hospitality, as if we, the viewers, were also their guests who could also be part of their family. And Delia Smith's many musings about the meaning of the holidays, as well as arguing that the holidays are all about family, taking time off from work to enjoy the company of family, friends, and loved ones, and also a time to give oneself some healing from all the hustle, bustle, and madness of the world. And since this is food that Delia Smith was focusing on, this is also a time to kind of indulge a bit, as well as to make a toast to a lot of wonderful things to come, helped with a little bit of bubbly from their champagne. The panning shot in the fireplace, especially with all those trinkets, managed to also enhance that warm, comfortable feeling that people, let alone viewers, have during the holidays. And it's also nice to see Delia Smith also give some tips about how to stock up properly. And of course, her tales about how her mother used to make sausage rolls and how she created those said sausage rolls full of love and attention to detail was absolutely amazing. Therefore, Delia's Classic Christmas was an absolutely amazing experience, both in terms of the culinary choices that Delia Smith featured in this Christmas special, as well as feeling that warmth, love, and overall great sense of being comfortable radiate throughout the screen to our homes and even to what Delia Smith and her husband are doing, and even to see their pet cat sauntering around the yard and being so adorable heightened that particularly lovely adorability that this particular Christmas special had, as well as gave us, the viewers, a sense of comfort and joy. If you have not heard about Delia Smith's previous trajectory, especially from the 1970s or the 1980s or the 1990s, this would be a pretty good place to start, as to also realize how capable Delia Smith is, not only as a culinary expert, but also as a warm-hearted woman who presents herself with genuineness and a whole deal of openness to her audience. And even though there are going to be people with varying opinions about Delia Smith, at least in my opinion, I found her to be an absolutely classy, unpretentious, and clear-minded television presenter, as well as culinary expert who also gives sage advice as to ensure that no mistakes would be made, as well as ensuring that there's clarity and organization in everything that needs to be accomplished. I salute Delia Smith for what she was able to accomplish, not only as a culinary expert who made this Christmas special work so well, but also as an overall maven of all things culinary, as well as everything related to domestic organization, and even finding some interesting literary quotes to hammer home the message of what the holidays truly mean, as well as find that overall warmth that people need during this holiday season. And for those of you who caught Delia's Classic Christmas, whether it be on BBC or online, what'd you think of it? Did you really enjoy and savor all of the culinary choices made in this Christmas special? What was your most favorite piece of culinary work created by Delia Smith? Did you also enjoy Delia Smith as a hostess? Or did you feel like this particular Christmas special was lackluster? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my tribute to Delia's Classic Christmas. Tune in much later for my tribute to Two Fat Ladies, the Christmas special. So until then, happy holidays, everybody!